What I will be discussing in this video is an article from Colin Liddell's new website, the one that I've discussed in more general terms in recent videos. But I wanted to take a look at this particular article. So you can see the title being what it is. Now, this is not about the character of Paul Joseph Watson. I'm not challenging Colin Liddell on that front. That's entirely irrelevant. I want to look at some of the things that Colin seems to be arguing for in this article, subtly, without so much as coming out and saying it, and why this caused me some concern. Okay, so what we begin with is this tweet that was put out by Paul Joseph Watson. And the tweet you can read, the tweet basically just reinforces what's in the picture or the meme. And the meme is, it's written in the Ukrainian colors of blue and gold. And it's a reference to, of course, the huge sums of money, taxpayer money, being sent to help the Ukraine war effort, not to try to bring peace to the war-torn Ukrainian region, but to help the war to continue being fought, and thus lives being lost, and misery continuing in that unfortunate region. So this picture, or this meme, reads, "You'll be cold in the winter because they need it more." And what this is saying, what this is making reference to, is the widespread fears, particularly in Europe right now, that prices are going to go up even more, and so heating costs will be prohibitive, and people will have to choose between, without being too alarmist sounding, have to choose between being warm and having food. But this meme is basically saying your countrymen, your elected officials have sold you out to their to further the fortune of their puppet state, their NATO puppet state. That being Ukraine, which, without going into too much detail, that's an effort that's been on the books with neocons and neoliberals and Eurocrats and members of the EU and so forth and so on, since 2014, 2015, when a low-level civil war essentially broke out in Ukraine, largely because of the aggressions perpetrated by NATO in that area. But anyway, Colin Liddell says, here's a tweet by Paul Joseph Watson. Whether the image is actually made by a Kremlin meme factory or not, it's just Kremlin propaganda. It's just Kremlin propaganda. It's obviously fake, but still plausible enough to fool a lot of idiots and morons. The typical understated prose of Colin Liddell. You're an idiot. You're a moron. What readers of Colin Liddell have grown to know and well know. It's just Kremlin propaganda. Let's stop there for a second, okay? So Colin goes on to say this image has been doctored, that it's actually taken from this image, which is just a poster board, and has been superimposed on that poster board. But is that really the issue? Does that really matter, whether this poster is real or not? The point is the message that it's broadcasting. And is the message true or isn't it true? Well, Colin Liddell says here, it's just Kremlin propaganda. Let's just say that, let's stipulate that this meme comes directly from the Kremlin. Okay. The question still remains, is it true or false? Is there a point being made that's a valid point here or not? Colin Liddell says it's just Kremlin propaganda. Okay, maybe not, but is it true? Okay, and as far as whether it's actually, whether it's just superimposed on this other image, that doesn't really seem to matter at all to me. Okay, he goes on to say, PJW, meaning Paul Joseph Watson, has done this so many times now. There's no way this is an innocent mistake. He knows it's fake, but he doesn't care. And then he expresses, again, his charming and ever so understated and not vulgar at all rhetoric there regarding Paul Joseph Watson. Of course, if you wanted to simp for the lying little shit, you gotta get that anger under control, Colin, really. I mean, gee whiz. Okay. You could say, I'm not going to chase down as to whether this is real or not, but certainly the sort of billboard they would put up. Okay. I don't think it's I think this misses the point. It's not the sort of billboard that the UK government would put up, because it obviously, it gives it away. It gives the game away. It says, we don't care about you, UK citizens, or other Western countries that are sending huge sums of money to Ukraine right now, including the United States. Obviously this meme is giving the game away. It's saying, we don't care about you all. You mean nothing to us. You're useless eaters as far as we're concerned. We would rather fund our puppet state, Ukraine, and keep a deadly war going there by giving them arms. Okay, so this first thing that he calls simping is not really true, not really relevant. But then he says, or maybe, yes, the meme is fake, but the point it makes is correct, namely that we are sacrificing too much for the sake of the Ukrainians. Bingo! I wouldn't necessarily put it that way. I think, I do think we should care about the Ukrainians, and we should show our care for the Ukrainian people by attempting to bring peace to the region, not by funding a destructive, homicidal, all wars are homicidal, so I guess that's redundant, but not by funding a war that will perpetuate misery for months and perhaps years to come. Okay, and so that this is the point being made in the meme. Is the meme fake just because it's not really on a billboard? I mean, that's just so. That's just. That's so totally irrelevant. I just think Colin Liddell must know better than that. But here's what he says: this too is fake and cowardly. Saying that the the point it makes is correct, namely that we are sacrificing too much for the sake of the Ukrainians. This, too, is fake and cowardly. How is it fake? And how is it cowardly? What's fake about it, Colin Liddell? How is it not authentic? How is it not authentically expressing a critique of the behavior of Western governments right now? And how in the hell is it cowardly? Okay. He goes on to say he doesn't really he doesn't really explain how it's cowardly, but what he says is this is maybe the most extraordinary paragraph in this whole thing, and to me the most disturbing thing. The reason we support the Ukrainians, what do you mean we, white man? The reason we support the Ukrainians is the same reason we support the police arresting people we don't know who stick knives into other people we don't know. It's simple. It's as simple as that. Really? Really. It's as simple as that. So we have whatever you think about the police and the behavior of the police and so forth. It's generally agreed we need a police force to keep criminals at bay and so forth. But here, Colin Liddell makes the jump from saying we support the police, don't we? We support the police arresting violent criminals. Well, if we support that, then we should also support giving guns and bombs to the corrupt government of Ukraine, because Putin and the Russians invaded Ukraine as part of this extremely complicated territorial dispute, which is something that even somebody who has a doctorate in international studies probably would have a hard time explaining all of the ins and outs of it. And of course, there's in some ways there's been a low-level civil war ever since 2014, 2015, and I'm not entering this, no matter what you might think, no matter what anyone watching might think. I'm not entering this with a pro-Russian kind of attitude or animus, or anti-Ukrainian animus. It's not that. It's just this comparison between saying we fund the police and they arrest criminals. I mean, even if that unfortunately isn't the case in many cases, because police corruption is a real thing and many police are criminals themselves, but still, understandably, we need a police force, even if we don't like the police. It's a necessary evil. But taking the taxpayer money of citizens of a country and saying, guess what, taxpayers, we have such contempt for you that we're not going to take your money and help you. We're not going to help help you rebuild your small businesses and whatnot after we've destroyed them with our phony pandemic that we've been running for the last couple of years. We're not going to help you. We're not going to keep the money, within the nation, helping the people of the nation. Instead, we're going to take your taxpayer money and we're going to send it to where we think it ought to go, which is to the NATO puppet government of Ukraine. That's where millions and millions and tens of millions of dollars and pounds and euros, that's where they're all going, to buy guns and arms for the likes of the Azov battalion. So Putin didn't have to invade the Ukraine. He doesn't have to keep doing it. He should stop send his troops home. Okay, again. Okay, so here's the question that I have. This is something that Colin Liddell doesn't say explicitly, but Colin Liddell, do you support the United Kingdom, your home nation? Do you support them? Do you support the elites, the establishment, taking millions of pounds, tens of millions of pounds? I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot. And it's a lot here, too, in the United States as well, and in Canada and every other Western country that's sending the Ukrainians money for guns and bombs to perpetuate this war, to keep this war going. Are you saying that you support that? You support your elected officials neglecting to address all the many things that need to be addressed within Western countries, and instead taking that money and shooting it on over to so that the Azov battalion can be well stocked with Kalashnikovs and whatnot. Is that what you're saying? Do you think that Western governments pouring millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, pounds, euros into Ukraine at the taxpayer's expense is a good thing? If you do, you should say so. You should let your readers know that that's where you stand. Okay. Yeah, Charlie Chaplin picture there. I don't know how that's exactly relevant. But back to, it's relevant. It's like, hey, it's the Azov battalion. There's a soldier in the Azov battalion for Ukraine. But back to PJW, Paul Joseph Watson. He's not even honestly making these kinds of disingenuous arguments, blah, blah, blah. Instead, he's trying to make his points with actual lies and doctored images. Well, yeah, I'll give you the image is probably doctored. What are the lies? He says with actual lies. What are the lies? Colin Liddell says nothing about what these alleged lies are. You'll also notice he's not just retweeting something someone else on Twitter has tweeted. No, he's uploaded the image himself. That is because he's the one that wants to be retweeted. Okay, fine. Maybe PJW is a narcissistic twit. Okay, that's not mine. I've got no beef with that issue. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know him, but that's not what I'm interested in here. Okay, he said either he's being paid directly to spread disinfo. What is the disinfo? You've said lies. You've said fake. You've said disinfo. What is the disinfo? What it says on that sign is true. Are you arguing that this is not true? Are you saying that money isn't being sent to the Ukrainians when the British are the ones who really need this money? That money isn't being sent by the British government to fund the Ukrainian war effort, to fund types like Zelensky and the Azov battalion, when it could be going to help needy Britishers. Are you saying that's not true? If so, you need to demonstrate how and why that's not true. But it doesn't seem like you can do that because it seems like on some level you know that it is true. He knows his content is literally a sham, but he doesn't care. Okay, so God, your hatred, your bile against Paul Joseph Watson is really clouding your judgment here. Now, Colin, I could go the extra mile here. I could ask you something. Because You say he's being paid directly to spread disinfo, possibly. I'm wondering if that might be the case with you. I don't know. There's no way that I or anyone will know for sure. But why are you writing articles like this? Why? What's is this just really the manifestation of your spite against the distant right, or has somebody taken you aside and said, here's a way you could be helpful and maybe get off of our list of infamy? Although, as far as I know, you're still on the ADL list, Colin, just like me. I don't know. These are just the sort of questions that flash through my mind. Let me know what y'all think. Thanks for watching.